an estate. My name's Amanda, and I'm going to take you on a tour of this weekend's estate sale. Before we go inside, we're going to talk about a few things. Let's talk about children. Here at Sales by DNA, we always strive to be a family-friendly environment. We love it when you bring your kiddos. We do want to point out that this estate has a lot more glass and crystal and beautiful, shiny, breakable things. So we do ask that your children stay with you while you browse and look through the estate sale, and that they're not just running around freely for the safety of them and the other shoppers and all the things on the tables. Let's talk about parking. We do have a wonderful circled drive here in front of the house, and we are not going to park in this drive. This drive is going to be strictly for loading your purchases. But if we stop in here, then no one can really get in or out, and it's just going to create a clog. We do have street parking. There is ample street parking, but there will be a walk. We're kind of on a hilly terrain here, so keep that in mind. You may have to walk uphill just a little bit. If you need closer accommodations, then maybe come a little later in the day. The rush at the beginning of an estate sale is always a lot of fun, but it is a lot of people, and it will result in you having to park further from the estate. So if you want to get a closer spot, maybe come a little later in the day and enjoy browsing when it's not as busy. Let's talk large furniture. We have a lot of beautiful, stately, antique pieces of furniture in this estate sale. However, that does mean it's a little trickier to get them out of the house if you purchase them the day of the sale. So we are going to be accommodating, and we will be available the following week to schedule a time that maybe works best for you to come back with a truck and trailer after the sale so that we can get them out. If you traveled a long distance and coming back is just not an option, we will do our best to accommodate and help you get pieces out. But like I said, the way we have so many tables set up that you'll see here in a minute, some of the bigger pieces are going to be a little harder to get out. Even if we have them empty, navigating tables might be a little tricky. So we do hope that, it can work out where we can get with you after the sale when there's no crowd and a lot of the tables are put away, and we can help you safely get your furniture out of the house. So keep that in mind. We are going to be available for that, but we will accommodate the best we can if you need the piece right this second. Let's talk pricing. On Friday when we open, everything will be priced and everything will be full price. We're not taking offers and negotiations on day one. That is what Saturday is for. So Saturday is fun. Everything goes 50% off. The only exclusion in this particular estate is our sterling pieces. So we have some sterling coins and we have some sterling flatware, and we will not go lower on those. They will stay where they're at. We do truly hope that we can find investment pieces for you, but everything else is not excluded. Everything else left on Saturday will go to the 50% off, and for the last couple hours, it will go to 75% off. So sure, keep that in mind and come back and see us and grab another great deal on Saturday. Let's talk accessibility. This estate, like I mentioned previously, parking is a little further away from the door of the house. We are going to use the front door for entry and exit at this estate sale, and there are a few steps to get up here. We do have one kind of handrail to the side. It's not the best, so just keep that in mind. If you do have a little bit of accessibility needs, I do not have a better way in or out of the house. There are some steps in the garage. I'll point those out as well as we go through the tour. I do have a handrail in there, but I do not have like a flat or a ramp accessibility to this sale. So just keep that in mind. You can go slow, just watch your step, but just know I do not have like a wheelchair accessibility in or out of this estate sale. All right, enough rambling. Let's go inside. All right, our tour is going to start in the great room. Welcome in. Get the door shut. Kind of show you the great room. We've got a bedroom off here we'll go to. This is going to be our checkout area. This front door will be our one way in and one way out this weekend. All right, we're going to work our way around. And I'm actually going to point out something real quick. We're still working on pricing, but I want to go ahead and show you something in case you're not familiar with our estate sales. Larger, heavier items that are not easy to just carry to the checkout we'll have what we call pull tags. So these will have a description of the item, and you literally pull them off of the piece of furniture, or, in this case, a beautiful lamp. This thing is solid bronze and really heavy. And underneath, you will find one of these two stickers. It'll be one of these big ones, or it'll be a little one, and they say the same thing. If the price tag is missing, this item is sold. And this is the price tag, kind of like shown here. So once that's removed, it'll say that it's sold so that other shoppers walking around know that that item is already spoken for. And then you take this piece of paper to the checkout when you're ready to pay, and then we'll stamp it paid, and then that is your proof of receipt that this item belongs to you. So that's kind of how that works. Smaller items will just be priced. But let's walk around, show you some of these furniture. All the wall art is going to be for sale in this one. We're still working on getting a lot of it tagged. There is a lot of it. There's a really old rocker. We do ask, I'll probably have a tag on this, that we do ask that you don't sit in this one. One of the wheels is kind of missing, and we don't want to scratch the floor or damage it any further. Other than that, it's in really, really good shape though. We do have some really beautiful walking canes and umbrellas and stuff, so definitely check those out. They're kind of tucked in there. Here is our beautiful cylinder secretary. So we have it rolled up right now, so you can kind of see all of the pieces, but that cabinet is beautiful with the original glass. Our divider, I'm going to kind of sneak you behind the couch here, and then we'll go into the sitting area. Beautiful umbrella canister. Lots of little side tables everywhere. This is one of the modern record players. See if I can do that. Oh, drop the power cord. Here's another one of our beautiful, very ornate furniture pieces. And then I may actually pull this down. I'm undecided for sure. It is safe up here, but this is the Seth Thomas mantle clock. That's the only thing. We did go ahead and empty out the cabinet, so you can kind of look at it, and then we're not running the risk of damaging any of the glass trying to get in and out of it. So let's focus over here. We do have a few things under the table. We'll have things labeled. You're more than welcome to kind of pull them out to shop them a little bit better if you're interested. Lots and lots of fun pieces. So Donna had notes with a lot of pieces, and some of them we chose to keep. For example, I wanted to point out this fun little picture. This belonged to Donna's great-grandmother, Sarah, and her father was the one who helped found Nevada in 1855. How cool is that? So there's some fun little pieces that we kept that are fun history pieces. So that's kind of cool. Give you some backstory. Look at these little Wedgwood thimbles. So cute. This table is where we do have the pair of uranium stemware. If you saw pictures of those, that's a fun one. Lots of these fun pieces we kind of shared. Do have the manganese, and they do glow under certain UV light. Lots of fun. Some things will be priced as a set, and then some things are priced individually. So, and the scissors, we are obviously still working on pricing. You'll see a lot today in the video that's still undone as we're working, but I want to go ahead and get this out so we can just kind of focus on pricing. So lots of dish sets. Again, these are going to be sold by the set. So they'll be here. A lot of the glasses are sold in sets. So kind of give you an idea there. We do have some movies, CDs, things like that under this table. Lots of wall art. Wall art is going to be tucked in every crevice and on the walls. So definitely dig through that. We do have this large flat screen TV. There's another set up here of dishes. We do have a VHS DVD, little things like that. And then I don't know if I ever showed this. This was a fun little, like a key holder. Kansas City Chiefs. All right. And then, you know what? We're going to go all the way around the perimeter, and then we'll come back to the center. How about that? We do have a lot of closets. Again, we'll have them kind of marked off so you know. I think this one right now does have a lot of boxes in it. We'll need those. So Lots of little chairs. Again, we're still working on putting pool tags on these, so that's kind of why I have them taped. We'll know. This is another bedroom we'll go in here in a minute. One of our beautiful rockers. Of course, the baby grand piano. I'm going to show you just a couple of things. Again, all this gorgeous wall art. Kind of show you. I mean, look at these frames. So pretty. We do have a faux plant here and just a couple more of the larger wall art if you're interested, kind of tucked up in here. We have emptied this closet. Let's go around the front of the piano. I do have a rug under here. So the rug is really nice, but it could be a little slippy sometimes, and I didn't want anyone to trip on it. So it will be for sale. I'll have a tag on it, but I kind of tucked it under the piano for safekeeping. This is a piano, and then this is a fun table. We have a lot of our silver plate trays and platters. Now, some of these are, if you were familiar with the Logan family, they raised racing horses, and so a lot of these are actually kind of trophies. You can see the etching in there. We do have a display I'll show you here in a little bit with a lot more of those, but you will notice a lot of trophy pieces sprinkled all over the house. And then we have some of the beautiful glassware merged in here. I have some of the cranberries and reds kind of mixed in on this table. The backlight may be a little strong. You can't quite see the colors, but there's some really gorgeous pieces in here. Underneath this table is where we have our brass candelabra. Beautiful piece. Our piano bench. I have all 4 claws and the marbles, and it is functional. Spirals up and down really well. We do have some sheet music under here. Again, more wall art. All of that is available. This beautiful armchair. Look at the embroidery details in this. Super stunning. All the lamps are going to be for sale. I'll bring in a couple of lamps. I'll show you in a little bit in the office. It's a little dark, so we'll bring in a couple of lamps, but they'll be identified. And believe me, they're not as pretty as these. So all of these are going to be for sale. This beautiful side table. We have a beautiful dresser here. This is an American Empire. Again, we have a few lamps. I have a couple plugged in. We kind of ran out of outlets too, but we can always test them, make sure they work for you. I did have a spoon shelf. So whether you collect spoons or hang dried flowers, that's a really pretty piece. Of course, our beautiful cutlery cabinet, the inkwell, lots of brass pieces mixed around all over. More wall art. And then here's where we have a hold table. So these are like shopping carts. You know, it says items in the basket are claimed. So this is a safe place for you to come set down your items while you're still shopping. We'll also have some bags that you guys can use if you'd rather just kind of carry some stuff around with you. We have big boxes. We'll try to have several boxes in here that we can kind of fill if it gets a little crowded at the beginning. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you this. This is kind of merging with the kitchen, but we're going to go ahead and show you this table before we go to the kitchen. I do have some really beautiful baskets, teacups. We do have some like souvenir plates. So a lot of these are local. So there's a lot of Cotty College, Bushwhacker, Methodist Church, things like that related to Vernon County. So those are really fun. This is where our Fiesta ware is. I don't have a whole lot, but we have some really pretty pieces. So those will be here. And then, like I said, we may have to overflow a little bit of the hold station under here, just because we're going to try and get as many of you in here as we can. So then right here in the center behind our checkout is this gorgeous dining table and chairs. Now, these chairs are what she had with the dining table. They do not necessarily match. So we're going to have pricing options for both, where you could buy it with the chairs or without the chairs, depending on what your style is. I do have one clothes rack in here. This is where we have our furs. So if you've seen us talk about some of these beautiful custom pieces, they will be here. And there's a couple of other fun, like silks. This was kind of fun. This was cap and gown, probably from when she went to Mizzou. And then we have a couple of coats here. I did have a pair of Uggs and some fur boots here. So those are just kind of here. We kind of ran out of room in the other room was clothing. We'll see that here in just a little bit. So again, this looks a little scattered right now. This will look a little more put together, but this is going to be checkout. So we're going to be able to check out people on both sides. So if you're ready to leave, it's right here at the door. This will be a checkout. So this is where we came in, and we've kind of made a little bit of a pass around. I'm going to show you this little table, and then we're kind of going to look over here before we go to another room. So we've tried to leave big alleyways where people can circle around things. This room is just one big open great room, so it was a little tricky to get set up. But this is where this beautiful little bistro set is. One of our glasswares. And these cute little guys. They're so ugly, they're cute. But we've got this little guy and this one. So, and then this, I don't know if I showed off this table very much. Look at this thing. So, beautiful antique piece, heavy marble top, some really fun wall art, lots of little pieces, crystal and glass, all kinds of fun stuff. So, this was a marble clock and lots of little crystal miniatures. So, fun little stuff there. And then let's go here and work our way back. I do have a couple of little side tables tucked under that you'll be able to purchase. We'll have pull tags on those just in case you want to keep shopping. They're light and easy to carry, but also kind of bulky. We have a little bit of wrapping paper and things that we found here. This table has some really fun vintage hats. I know we just had the Derby opening. I mean, we really kind of needed some of these. Some beautiful vases, some flower frogs. This was a really ornate one. I hadn't seen one quite like this before. So that was fun. She had it down in a vase. Lots of these little lynx birds. So those are on here. We've sprinkled in some pictures and frames, a little bit of everywhere. This is solid bronze as well. So a few more hats, some fun things. If you saw our glow post, this is one of the glowing pieces. These two shot glasses are actually uranium. So that's kind of fun. Lots of little trinkets here, there, and everywhere. Lots of brass pieces mixed in. Some coasters, again, the shelf, the lamps. These will all be for sale. A couple more furniture pieces in here. We kind of staged this like a sitting area so you could kind of see. This is that fun game table. It would be perfect for mahjong. And then we went ahead and just staged a lot of our vintage game pieces, our dominoes, cards, things like that here at this table. This is one of the armchairs that we have, and then it matches this lazy boy sofa. And then we do have an electric lift chair as well. Here in the center, we have just a few pieces on here, some porcelain. These are not actually brass. They kind of look like it. They're actually ceramic. So those are a fun set. Some pewter pieces. And then we are actually selling rugs too. So I'll have tags on those. Those will be here. But that kind of shows you the living room. Gives you an idea of where things are. Oh, I don't think I showed you this table. All right, so this is one of our dry sinks. This one was really pretty. A lot more brass pieces. This is where the opera glasses are at. So, fun stuff. Definitely check those out. And now we will go, I keep forgetting. There's so much good stuff in here, guys. When you first come in, I am going to keep the Bushwhacker historical quilt right here in the front. Right now I have it gently folded on a table. It may stay like that, or I may bring a rack that we can hang it so you can admire it and look at it a little bit better. But it will not change location. It may just be hanging instead of folded. But that will be right here front and center when you first come in. But let's go to this bedroom. All right, let's tour the southwest bedroom. We do have just a couple of things hanging on the doors. We do have a flag over here. Look at this room, guys. Oh, stunning. I can't wait for you guys to see it in person. Lots of wall art sprinkled everywhere. one of our vintage, actually this one's probably more antique. One of our dressers, chest of drawers, lots of fun little things, some really ornate letter openers here, some figurines. Again, the lamp will be for sale. We do have one oil lamp, not a whole lot in this one, but we do have a few. I think there was some plushies in here, some toys. This is an air mattress. We have not tested that one yet, but we thought we would go ahead and put it in here. All the wall art, paintings, mirrors, these are all going to be for sale. This was another little sink with a marble top. Absolutely beautiful. Got a little bit of tiger eye in it. This was a really fun luggage set. It has all the pieces. It's a beautiful canvas. Definitely look that over. The detail in this set is so pretty. And then let me turn around. It's a little tight in here. I will kind of give you a heads up. So we do have this. I've got a couple of pillows in it. Let me pull these out so you can see this beautiful chair, because I don't even know if I ever got a picture shared on the internet of that. So beautiful, kind of like a saddleback almost chair. Of course, the Eastlake burled wood bed is immaculate. And then this on the bed is where we have so many of our linens. So this is a lot of our blankets, our wool blankets. We have a few of these commemorative blankets and throws that were like Nevada, Vernon County, Bushwhacker Museum, things like that. I have a couple of those, a few pillows, things like that. I have more linens I'll show you later, but these were kind of the bigger, bulkier pieces. And then right here on the end of the bed, if you're after quilts, this is where we have them. So we have all the quilts here, and we ended up finding a cute little pillow that went with this one, so that'll just go with that quilt. But we do have all the quilts here, and then the quilt top is here. So other than the historical quilt being out of this room, all the quilts are going to be right here on the end of the bed. This is our hand-painted steamer trunk. We do have it emptied out, but you can kind of look at that. Again, kind of show you this bed. We did go ahead and strip the mattress so you can kind of see the condition that it is in, which is actually really good. Again, more wall art, some beautiful pieces. Check out this beautiful cabinet. I don't think I showed this one very much too. So this one is beautiful. You could put your records in there, set your little player. Absolutely gorgeous. Hand painted. Definitely check that out. I'm going to back up here. And then I'm going to show you this beautiful piece. Another kind of Eastlake, definitely Victorian. Got the mirror, the marble top, the slides, two big drawers, absolutely gorgeous. Another wicker wooden rocker. We have several rockers in here. Here was a few more pillows we kind of tucked up in here. They do match one of the comforters over there, so we could make you a deal on all of those. We have emptied out the closet. Everything is out here. So many beautiful embroidered pieces. Now, a lot of these are in vintage condition. They'll need a little TLC, but so stunning. Look at this bell pull. I mean, come on. All of that detail. We have a couple of these in the estate sale, so check those out. We do have a few things sprinkled on top here. If dolls are your thing, we have one. I do have a lot of ephemera kind of laying around, just some vintage paper. That's kind of fun if that's your thing. We do have a lot of that kind of laying around. I'll show you a couple more places that we have that. We do not have public restrooms. We do have them taped off, but we did go ahead and put a few things in here just to kind of spread things out and help us like not be on top of each other. A few more brass pieces. Of course, the little mouse I had showed off. I don't think I had showed you guys this little guy. I mean, how cute. A stamp holder. We do have some candles in here. There's a couple of seashells. Those will be for sale. I do have a not for sale on this. It's actually attached to the wall. And so just to, protect the integrity of the house, we're just going to leave that in the bathroom. That will not be available. We do have another chair, so not a whole lot in here. But just to kind of show you this bedroom. But let's go to our another room. All right, we're back in the great room, and now I'm gonna take you over here to the east bedroom. Let's go check it out. All right, again, we do have a few things hanging on the doors. So these are a bunch of beautiful linen tablecloths that we found in a closet. So I went ahead and just hung them up here if you're in the market. We do have a few pillows, like some throw pillows. Again, guys, look at all the embroidery type stuff. Absolutely gorgeous. So there's a few pillows in there. We're still vacuuming. The vacuum's not for sale. We're still just making sure everything is all spick and span for when you guys arrive. Again, look at these beautiful tablecloths, all the detail. So we have a few of those hanging in here, but let's come check out this room. Let me back up here. Again, lots more wall art. It's tucked a little bit of everywhere, so please kind of rummage through those because there's some really beautiful pieces. We've tried to hang a few on the wall, but there's just so much to share with you guys. The shelf will be for sale. I probably will put a pool tag on that one. Don't want it to knock down. And then let me go ahead and back up. This dresser is available, and I'll probably have it priced two ways, where you could take the mirror, leave the mirror, or if you just want the mirror. It's not attached to the dresser. It is hanging on the wall. So we'll be accommodating when it comes to purchasing that item. But let's see what we have over here. Lots of fun little trinket dishes. We have lots of easels spread out throughout this one, like these brass easels. Again, lots of rocks and geodes. A lot of these are just little like ring dishes, little trinket boxes, all kinds of fun perfume, things like that. So a few of those. We do have a jar full of buttons, and then this is full of sewing notions. One of the funnest tins I think I've ever seen. So check that out. And then this is like the master bathroom, and we have all kinds of good stuff in here. So these shelves are chocked full. We have some more vintage hats in here. We have some sweatshirts. We have jewelry boxes, a couple of different jewelry boxes, some statuary. I'll have this labeled a little better. This one is full of t-shirts. So just lots of miscellaneous t-shirts. We have a few linens down here, some brass candlesticks, lots of clutches and purses are going to be in here, and lots of our fashion jewelry pieces. So there'll be all kinds of grab goodies in here, so definitely dig through those. You'll find some good pieces. This was a really vintage slip. That thing is gorgeous. Definitely check it out. I have a few others that are a little newer. We do have a few towels. Those are in here, and then this one was, I'll have it labeled. It's like washcloths, hand towels, things like that. Again, lots more fashion jewelry pieces in here. This is another one of those that's actually a trophy. So that was one. The horse air gun won that one. So super fun. Lots of handbags. This is kind of a mess right now. Can't guarantee it'll look any better when you arrive, but we will have prices on the handbags. So definitely come check this out. We were kind of running out of room and places to put those, but lots of handbags. So come check that one out. And then we'll kind of turn around. I do have a little footstool here. Again, we've taped off the toilet, no public restroom, but we do have a few fun little things in here. This was an ode to running water. A few hand towels. We do have some wall art hanging in here. A couple of beautiful chairs. And then, like, this is a basket. I have a few baskets full of scarves. And I think this one was the one that was all silk scarves. So we'll have that labeled and tagged a little better. There are some beautiful pieces in there. This was a few of our belts. These were some of our actual leather. One of these is a like Montana silversmith buckle. This one was a beautiful turquoise one. So definitely check those out if that's your vibe. And then here in the sink, we have lots of goodies. So we have some more of our jewelry pieces, lots more of our little trinket boxes and compacts. These are all little perfumes. Another jewelry box. There is a few hair dryers and curling irons, things like that. We do have a couple more trinkets up here. And then we even have some perfumes. in here. And then this is where you'll find these darling little goose towels. I only found 2 of them, but they're so stinking cute. All right, and then we'll come back into the bedroom, kind of show you some of this. The floor rugs are available. I'll have those tagged. We had a couple pairs of shoes, not a whole lot. And then, oh, this was the other bell pull I was talking about. This one is gorgeous. Look how long this one is. So, gorgeous piece. Definitely check it out. And then we just have clothing. So this is all women's clothing. It's kind of all over the board, but I'm going to say it averages like large, extra large. There are a few smaller pieces. You know how a woman's closet goes. We have all sizes. This will look a little better when you arrive. We're still getting this pile sorted and hung up. I do have some socks and things like that. A couple more handbags I need to kind of work into the handbag section. And then you'll actually be able to see this rocker a lot better. So like I said, so many beautiful rocking chairs in this one. This one has a leather seat and back. Absolutely gorgeous. And then, as I was saying, we just have more baskets with scarves. Still kind of working on getting this pile put in the appropriate places. We have lots of little coin purses and wallets and things like that. Some of these are the Whitting ones. These are so fun. If you've never felt one, definitely come feel these. They're fun. Some really antique ones. Look at the needlework on that. It's so pretty. So that will be here. I am going to have a wooden display here that will hang a lot of this jewelry. So again, guys, so many fashion pieces. I know we shared about some of our designer ones, but there is so many fashion pieces that are definitely worth looking at. So we'll have those displayed a little bit better. Again, the nightstand and the little kind of like a miniature chest drawer. So that's kind of fun. See, look, here's some more of these. These are so fun. These beaded ones, lots of those spread out, more scarves, pair of clogs, some of our brass lamps. I think I do have that one plugged in. I just don't have it on right now. A few more clothing items. This one had a lot more jackets on it. Some of them were more like PJs, casual. So definitely look through those. Do have some shoe stretchers. Again, the rugs. And I have another rug wrapped up back there. Again, I need to actually go distribute these. These are actually, this is going to go with our horse stuff. I'll show you that room here in a minute. And then these need to go with our bigger linens. So that way you can actually admire and open up and see this cedar chest. This is a really beautiful piece and we wanted it empty and cleared off so you could look at it. This mattress appears almost brand new. So this was on the bed in here. We did go ahead and break it apart. It is here if you're interested. But then we did go ahead and just price this separately. It's a queen size mattress and box spring and it looks brand new. So that is here and it'll be pretty easy to slip out. We just kind of put it there so you could see it. Another little chair, wall art everywhere, guys. So that kind of shows you this room. Let's go check out another one. All right, let's go check out the kitchen. The kitchen is right off of the living room. I kind of showed you this table a while ago. We're getting ready to work our way around the counter and island. But before we do, I'm going to point out the laundry room. We're actually going to have these doors removed the day of sale. So that way there's just no congestion here. But this is where our washer and dryer are located. We're still working on wrangling this. We do have some light bulbs and cleaning supplies. So there won't be much in here other than the washer and dryer and the ironing board. Cleaning supplies will probably move out to the garage. I'll show you where those will go. But that's where the washer and dryer are going to be, so you can look at them. And then as far as traffic flow, the island is literally an island. So we can go around both ways to access the rest of the house. So the only thing I have in this hallway are 2 pieces. I'll go ahead and show you. So this awesome tapestry with a grandfather clock. Super fun. And then this is a fun hall tree mirror that you would hang your hats and umbrellas and things like that. So we left those there. But for the most part, this little hallway, there's not going to be much on it. Just that way we can kind of scoot through there and not bump things off. We have emptied all of the cabinets and drawers and things like that in the kitchen. So everything is out on the counter for us to see. So we have some beautiful pottery pieces, some Pyrex, lots more brass pieces. That was a beautiful trivet. We did have a beautiful Pyrex bowl. She is well loved and been through the dishwasher a few times, but still in good condition. Lots of crystal pieces, some glassware. These were a fun set of skewers. So got brass on the end of them. Do have a coffee pot. Lots of small little trivets, magnets, souvenir pieces. So those will be in a couple of places throughout the house. Definitely look those out. This will have a few more coffee mugs. We're still kind of washing those up, getting them all spick and span. So those will probably be sitting here. The window seal is full of all kinds of goodies as well. So check that out. I've been washing our hands. I will have this unscrewed. So that way it can be purchased. That is just a beautiful little salt box or recipe box. Lots more cups and mugs. There are some candlesticks in here. These were a beautiful pair. There are some drinking glasses. There are a lot of fun little plates in here, so definitely kind of look through that. I think there is a couple of souvenir ones. There's a juicer, things like that. But again, we have emptied all of the cabinets. There's nothing in those. We do have a couple of aprons. But then I'm going to back up and we'll check out this part of the island. This was that plate. It does glow. It is both uranium and a little manganese, so it glows under both UV frequencies. That was a fun one. We do have some Crocs, some advertising. Do love those. Just some everyday Tupperware pieces. A little bit of flatware. We don't have a whole lot of flatware. Most of it is all sterling. I'll show you where that's going to be here in a little bit. The cutest little teapot. So many teapots kind of spread around. We have some utensils, a few trays. We do have a cornbread pan. And then this is where you'll find the copper canister set. Super fun. And then here's where we kind of detour into the garage and the office. But let's go check out the office. All right, welcome to the office. The office is going to be a fun room. This is where you're going to come find all of the sterling, the coins, and your designer jewelry. So if you're looking for the Christian Dior, the Gucci, things like that, they will be in a lockbox in here. And then there'll be a couple of people working in here to help you with sterling or coins if you're interested. This is where those will be located. The process will be a little different for that. We will check out items here, or at least hold them until you have a paid receipt to carry them out. But that will be here. It's a little dark in here. We'll have a couple more lights displayed in here, a day of sale. But we do have like this executive office desk. And then it also has like the hutch piece. We're going to sell them separate. Maybe you just need one or the other. And then if I can get it to kind of adjust, there's lots of fun little mugs in here, some paperweights, just some office pieces like some of these stationery trays. It's a little dark in the cubby hole so you can't quite see, but lots more brass trivets and pieces, some travel pieces. So this was a fun little brass magnifying glass. Things like that. I do have a few greeting cards down here. Not really much. We've emptied all of this out. Again, lots more letter trays. Just things you would use in an office. A couple more souvenirs and plushies. Do have a really nice lampshade up here. All my lamps had shades, so this is an extra one. I know those can be hard to come by, so that one was really pretty. Now on these shelves is where I have a whole lot of the horse stuff. So there we have a lot of the silver trays and trophies and plaques. We have ribbons, lots of fun horse stuff. So we do have a couple of our purses in here. We do have like our brass door knocker. These were so fun. I found these just the other day. It's a bag of buttons that all have horses on them. So that was kind of fun. Again, more trophy pieces. Some of their photos of some of their horses. I thought that was really fun. A couple more of their trophies. And then I sprinkled in some horse things. We did have a beautiful coffee table book all about the Derby. And then this was the beautiful brass towel holder, and or just like a door hook almost. You could hang coats or something. Found some more photos as we were cleaning out that were just kind of fun. So beautiful pieces, kind of all sprinkled around. There were some really fun copper ornaments. And then these beautiful placemats were really regal. So check those out. And then we just found these. I don't think I had shared anything about these. So we found a ton of like collegiate felt flags. So these are so fun. Lots of different schools and teams, football, baseball, colleges. So super fun. Check those out. And then we do have another cedar chest here. I figured the flags don't weigh a whole lot. You can open the cedar chest and get a look at it, and it'll be all right. And then we kind of merge and turn into the library. So on this side is where we have all of our books. So lots and lots of books, and they're not organized in any certain way. So you're definitely just going to have to look through all the shelves. Super fun. A lot of really old books. We have a lot of history, a lot of biographies. There's some fiction, lots of coffee table books. We put a few out here to kind of show off. This is where we have the printer tray. So if you're interested in that, we do have a filing cabinet. There are some fun news articles, old newspapers, kind of in a stack down here. Lots of books. We did make this whole shelf dedicated to the Kansas City Royals. So we found lots of fun pieces here, even a little needlepoint. So check that out. We do have a few bookend sets on top. And then, like I said, just lots of books. So definitely check it out. We do have just a few pieces here, some bar stools, some shelving. This one is kind of fun. These are actually like magnetic. And so there were pictures and notes and things like that, and then they all adjust, you can put them wherever you want. So that was a fun little message board. So that kind of shows you the office. Coffee break. Let's take a minute to talk about one of the fun things we do here at our estate sales, and that is a scavenger hunt. So we will have a couple of items. There's enough square footage. We're going to do 2 items in this estate sale. Our first little guy is going to be this beautiful ceramic little bird. It's kind of lime green. So this little guy will have this sticker underneath him. I'll post it up here. And then this is a scavenger hunt item. If you find it somewhere in the estate, on a table, on a shelf, somewhere where stuff is available for purchase, if you bring it to the checkout, you will get $10 off of your purchase with us this weekend. So that is going to be one. And then this one might be a little trickier. I chose one of the geodes. And again, I'll have the sticker on it. It'll look like this, just to confirm that it's a scavenger. But we have a lot of geodes, so you're going to have to really look. But this is also going to be one of our scavenger hunt items. Again, if you find it, bring it to the register at checkout, and you will get $10 off of your purchase with us this weekend. All right, back to the tour. All right, welcome to the garage. All right, we do have a platform when we first come into the garage. We have a couple of steps that go down. There is a handrail if you need a little bit of accessibility. Right here, when we first walk in, we just have a couple of things. This was a really nice rolling suitcase. If you're in the market, we're gonna go down the steps. We do have a small little garage fridge. I just call these garage fridges because they are what they are. We do have it plugged in. It is working, but they're, rough, but for an extra fridge in the garage that works, it is what it is. So, and this fun little nook, we have a lot of Christmas. So we're still working on getting this kind of sorted and displayed. It'll look just a little different when you get here, but this is going to be Christmas. There's some beautiful ornaments in here. You may want to check those out. And then some of our pots and pans and kitchen merged and overflowed into the garage. So this one is full of some of that kind of stuff. So pots and pans, a little bit of the bigger cookware that just took up too much bulk in the kitchen. This is where the block of Cutco knives are. So that's a nice piece. I went ahead and plugged a Christmas tree in so you could see it. Absolutely beautiful. I will point out down here, we just had so many fun, small bookmarks and little bitty books, some ephemera, just some fun vintage pieces that I put in here that if that's something that interests you, you can kind of look through it. This is some beautiful Spode china. Both boxes, I opened one so you could kind of see it. The rest of them are kind of wrapped, so we left them like that. It'll make packing a little easier. We do have some snack tray sets in here, a little bit of Easter, if you like Easter. We do have a really cute antique child's bed in here. So I kind of have that tucked back there, but the headboard, footboard, and the rails are all there. We do have an organizer. There's another Christmas tree back there, but I don't know if I have the whole tree, but I just kind of have it hiding back there. Couple of fans, of course, our gorgeous copper bucket. This is another one of our record players I had mentioned. And just some fun stuff. This all goes together. This is one of those fun, this one, I see this a lot if you're familiar with these. You would put candles in here, and then the heat from the candle would create like a flow, and it would spin this. But oftentimes what happens, we end up missing a few because the candle can catch fire. So this one sadly did have a fire, which was actually pretty common. And then this is more of just all the little figurines and things that would go with that. So kind of fun. It's still cool, and there's still a lot of it left. So I went ahead and left it here. We have a few things hanging on the wall, some baskets, some more wall art. We did have a cuckoo clock. I don't know if I've looked entirely over this to know if it's there or not. We'll have some more information to make sure it's complete and functioning. We're going to get that tested this week. I do have a chandelier. I don't know if I had shared with you guys that we had this antique chandelier. Absolutely gorgeous brass piece. But one of the arms is broken. It's here. So if you knew someone who could kind of do a little bit of welding on that, it would be good to go. So we're leaving that in the crate. I kind of pulled it to the top of the styrofoam so you can take a look at it. We do have these gorgeous stained glass windows. They're made to hang. Do have a filing cabinet. Do have a couple of these cabinets and some goodies inside. Just kind of a mix. We have some decanters and some flower pots. Lots of fun little trivets and pieces. We did have some haul in here. And then we do have an old radio, a couple of old cameras, a cast iron cornbread. Lots of fun pieces. And then we do have a dog crate if you're interested. A couple of larger flower pots. This one is a ceramic one. Pottery. We do have a little bit of paper goods. Not a whole lot, but some paper plates and napkins and cups, things like that. This was a nice little cash box, you know, for doing yard sales and things. It does have the divider inside of it. A couple of cast iron pieces, some garden things kind of spread out. These were fun little turkeys. Another matchbox, cake taker. We had a little bit of fall, autumn, Halloween in here. So definitely come check that out. This was another one of those really pretty flower pots. So it's oxidized pretty heavy. So it may even be kind of like got some bronze in it, or copper maybe. It's kind of a copper. And then this is where our gorgeous crock is, our Pittsburgh crock. It is a number 8. Does have a couple of cracks, but as far as like overall integrity, it's still really good. A couple of fireplace screens in here. And then we have, of course, you know, some of the garden yard tools, rakes. There's maybe a shovel in there. There's a couple of shepherd hooks. So that's kind of where those will be. And then a little bit more outdoorsy stuff. We do have a leaf blower, and a hedge trimmer, a little grill. We have some saws, extension cords. This is where I'm probably going to put some of those cleaning supplies that we had with the washer and dryer. So we have some cleaning supplies already out here. So that's probably where they'll end up as far as that goes. And then just lots of these, like, you know, junk drawer boxes. So we had some screwdrivers and hammers, batteries, scissors. There's a little tackle box. So this is just kind of a little garage table. We do have some small ladders, a little chair, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn back around and show you the center. So here's where we have some more of our linens that overflowed. We didn't have room to keep it all in the bedroom. So we have totes with tablecloths, and we'll have them identified a little better. There's some sheet sets, placemats, lots of these very antique, like vintage linens. So whether you use them for what they were intended, or if you're repurposing on like jeans or quilts, things like that. There's some napkins, lots of fun pieces. So this is going to be fun to look through. We figured it'd be a little easier to spread out and look at them out here. So again, another tub full of just all kinds of linens. So if you're into linens, this is where those will be. I do have another flag still new in the box. So, and then we have a lot of picture frames. So many picture frames. There's some really gorgeous vintage pieces in here. So definitely look at that if you're into that. We laid a few out just to kind of give you a sampling of the types of frames and stuff that we have in the boxes. So definitely look through those. We do have some more silver plateware, and then look at all these geodes. So fun story, these did come from one of the Logan farms. So lots of geodes. They are native to Vernon and Cedar County. So lots of fun geodes. We have a whole bunch of them in here. Again, you will find just some small boxes and bowls and cups throughout the house that just have miscellaneous. This one was full of pins. We do have this really gorgeous brass and marble candelabra. A couple of fun pieces. I tried to keep this table as bare as I could just so you could actually appreciate the table. This is an Ethan Allen table. Both sides drop. So, and then it does have one full bench with it. I don't have any other chairs or another bench for the other side, but it does have the one bench. It is a really gorgeous piece. So that is in here. It was just quite large, so we had to find a place to go with it. But that kind of shows you the garage. I will mention that we do have a few patio furniture pieces out on the front porch. So this is where we enter. We do have a few pieces. These will all be tagged, but this is the extent of what we have outside. All right, that completes our walkthrough tour of the late Donna Logan estate sale that will be happening this weekend, May 15th and 16th here in Nevada, Missouri. We'll have all the details below, and we can't wait to see you.